Live. Welcome, everybody, to this week's episode of Double Five with Charles Warren, featuring Dale Davis.
Howdy. Made you wait.
We have a lot to talk about today, my friend.
And say so.
Um,
I was thieving about a couple of things at the end of that race, but
I imagine.
can't control.
Um, Instead of getting into the racing action from the weekend, we're going to talk about the latest breaking news. Justin Haley is leaving Chevrolet and Colleague to go to Rick Ware Racing and Ford. That is a huge step for Rick Ware Racing.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking Rick Ware Racing. What do they have? They got 3 charters? Or they
Uh,
only have 2 left now?
I think just
I
two.
think it's 2, the 15 and the 51. Right?
Yeah, I think so.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised to see them sell one, go down to a 1-car team, and just focus all their energy on Justin Haley. Apparently, Haley said what sealed the deal for him was when he went to visit them and realized the connection they have with Roush, because apparently they're operating out of the Roush Fenway Keselowski shop.
Yes.
And he said that experience to go in there sold him on it, so that's why he signed. Obviously, RFK's headed in the right direction. If some of that can rub off on Rick Ware, maybe, who knows? I still think it's a long shot, but they can only get better. They can't get any worse.
No, they really can't.
Actually, you could be worse. You could be Spire. You could be Spire. The Spire 77.
Yeah, Spire isn't. I mean, I don't know how I feel about Spire because I mean, the 7 with Corey LaJoy is running in top tens, almost winning at super speedways. Meanwhile, Ty Dillon or whoever's in the 77 isn't doing anything.
Who just got a new crew chief. They made Bono from the DEI days Ty Dillon's new crew chief. But the disparity between the 7 and the 77 is larger than any 2 teammates I've seen in a long time.
Yeah,
I can't remember the last time. Like, look at RFK. RFK is about dead even. Like, Brad's whatever in points, and Buscher's only like 6 or 7 points behind him. They run about the same. Trackhouse, when one's fast, the other's fast. Hendrick's been a little up and down, but they're not that far off from each other. But look at Spire. The 7's like mid to average, and the 77 is worse than Rick Ware. So,
yeah.
don't know what that's about. I
Um,
think Spire talked a big game, and I think they kind of. I feel like Corey LaJoy was sold a false bill of goods because he was talking a big game before this next gen car came out. What have they done?
yeah, exactly. Um,
But yeah, hopefully the Justin Haley Rick Ware marriage will be a lot more successful.
I think it will. I think it will just because of how much experience Justin Haley has alongside this partnership with RFK. Um, Huge step for Rick Ware Racing for sure. Uh, People keep
To get a real
saying,
driver, absolutely.
"Oh yeah, great road racer, phenomenal plate racer." Well, I say plate, super speedway racer, drafting track racer. There we go.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's going to really help. If anything, that'll really help Keselowski and Buscher, who have already just about won several races where they could have finished 1-2 on super speedways. I think they were going to win the Daytona 500. Brad should have won the first Atlanta race this year. I think add Justin Haley to that. It
yeah,
definitely helps.
yeah, for sure. Um, I think it's a huge loss for Colleague because now they have to fill that seat. I don't see them bringing Daniel Hemrick or Chandler Smith this soon.
Uh,
Um,
Now, Chandler Smith, I think, might be the one. I don't think he's ready, but I think he might be the one. And he's probably the most talented option. They can't get Austin Hill.
yeah, they he Chandler's not really that ready because isn't this his first year in Xfinity? I
Yeah, was giving me big Harrison Burton to the 21 vibes when I heard, oh, it's going to be Chandler Smith. I was like, no, 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 don't do this.
Yeah, exactly. Um, moving on
What if
to
it's Ryan Newman?
I would they bring back an older guy or would they go with a young guy?
I was starting to think. I don't know if Newman wants to be full time. I know Newman wants to race, and I mean he's in the race this weekend. He's in the 51, but I don't know if he wants to be full time.
I
I don't
don't
know if
think so.
experience is that.
I
In a
don't.
perfect world, you get somebody that's been running this next gen car for the last couple of years
Oh
instead of
yeah,
having to start fresh with somebody. Because I think now more than ever, starting fresh with someone who's just a straight rookie with no experience in this car, it's not going to be good. At least for the first half of the season, it'll
no,
be
it's
pretty bad.
no, it's not. Moving on to this weekend's action, starting in the Truck Series. Tanner Gray on lap 4 got loose in coming off turn 1 and had a hard hit into the inside wall. Um, I, that I know of, he's fine.
Yeah, just pissed off
Yeah, I
from his
mean,
interview.
yeah, because I mean, only completed 3 laps, so I mean, it's an awful points day for him.
Yeah, that opened up some chances for other guys, but yeah, they're pretty much must win. And who knows, maybe Richmond and the trucks will be good this time. It's not been good the last couple of years. There's a lot
Uh,
on the line.
I wouldn't hold my breath.
But yeah, for whatever reason, Richmond trucks is pretty bad. Like it
Yeah,
shouldn't be, but it is.
it reminds me a lot of the Bristol night race from last year. Like, just what are you doing?
Yeah, or Knoxville. Only that was bad for other reasons.
Yeah, for sure. Sanchez, Nick Sanchez got into Garcia. Um, did you see that?
Yep, I was streaming the race.
That was a hard. That was
And
a hard
yeah,
hit for Garcia.
Pocono is just brutal for crashes. Like,
Yeah,
I just can't. There's no good way to hit a wall, but at Pocono, it just seems to be
the
way
worst.
worse than most places.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hard hit for Garcia. That truck was destroyed. It looked on both ends as well. Mostly the back
Yeah,
though.
he felt that.
Yeah, he felt that one absolutely. Um, Carson Hocevar tripped another big one.
And he was really underwhelming in this race. I had high expectations for him coming into this, but
I don't know if
totally
it's
flopped. And yeah, he caused Rick.
I don't know if it's really fair to say he caused it. He just got loose and washed up into the other trucks. So I mean, it's not like he just
Yeah,
right hooked someone.
I think if you go back and listen to my stream, I'm pretty sure as it's happening, I go, "Oh, here it goes. He's about to wreck him." I just, I had that sense of like, "Yeah, this is about to happen," and then it did.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you saw it coming when you saw that bobble. Um, Kyle Busch, KBM, 100 wins in the Truck Series.
Is that was it 100 or was it more?
No, it's this win was the 100.
It just seems like it's more. Okay, yeah, okay, 100 wins in the trucks. And I don't know if I misheard him or not, but I could have sworn I heard Kyle Busch say, "We're just a small team," and I about spit my Gatorade out laughing when he said they were just a little team. And I'm like, come on, dude.
I know they are no small team. Um,
No, not really. Not with the support they get.
that move that
They
he
have budget
put.
wise, they're small.
No, that move that he put in the tunnel turn after he got a huge run off one was impressive.
Well,
I,
I kept saying during that entire last run, I'm like, I think Heim is just good enough. I'm like, Kyle is going to have to put himself in a bad spot and make a bold move because Corey was just too good off the corner. Corey was creeping into the corners, I think, just trying not to make a mistake. His truck was fast. He got off the corner well. And with 2 to go, Kyle got really close. And I was like, ooh, that's probably as close as he's got. That's probably the last gasp. And then on the last lap, by God, it was like Corey just let him have it. Like, I think he saw Kyle get a little bigger in his rearview mirror the lap before, so he got scared. And Kyle just pressured him into making a mistake. It wasn't like a big mistake. It was a slight mistake. He underdrove the corner, and Kyle just sailed by him.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Kyle Busch is probably the only guy in that field that could have made that move without wrecking it.
Oh, yeah.
Most other people are going to drop it. They're going to take out Corey, but Kyle didn't.
No, Kyle knows how these trucks handle. I mean, he's been in so many of them. So, I think it's...
Choke job inside of two laps to go became a theme of the day on Saturday.
I don't even think a veteran that's been in the Truck Series longer than Kyle Busch, like Matt Crafton, would have tried something like that. So, very impressive move to take the lead.
I'm never impressed by Kyle Busch in a truck, but I was like, yeah, that was a nice move.
Yeah, well,
sorry, people, I'm one of these guys. Kyle Busch winning in trucks is not impressive. It doesn't do anything for me or anyone.
I mean, you kind of expect it, though, don't you?
Yeah, if he doesn't win, it's like a failure. It's like, oh, wow, you couldn't win this race with this talent. Like, come on.
Yeah. It's like an underdog football game.
Give me a break. Let me just run down the list. I mean, won another truck race over the likes of Dean Thompson, Matt DiBenedetto, washed up Matt Crafton, Daniel Dye, Caden Honeycutt. Although Caden Honeycutt's pretty good. I think he's got a future.
Oh, yeah. That's about it for the Truck Series. Am I missing anything?
Hey, Kyle Busch, why don't you go run some ARCA races while you're really hot? Go win some of those. They're just as bad as trucks, basically.
Nah, he'll get run into from behind when there's a wreck coming.
Yeah, it might be harder to win because they do wreck a bit more in that series. Not much more, but a bit more.
I mean, to each his own. It is what it is. Moving to the Xfinity Series for this weekend, Josh Berry won only his second stage all season. The first one, I think, was in...
Yeah, they're good.
I think the first one was in California, maybe? I might be wrong. I'm probably wrong.
God, I can't remember who. I never keep track of stage winners after the race is over.
Right.
I don't think anybody does.
Yeah, I mean, the first half of the race was all Josh Berry. I mean, he won the first stage. He was up there all race.
Yeah, let me give you a little something to edit.
Do what?
Listen, let me give you a little something to edit since you're all about editing now, and I'll keep it to this. I posted on Facebook late in the race. I said, Junior Motorsports, don't choke on your own shit challenge 2023. Impossible, because I knew it was coming. With all those late cautions, I'm like, yep, they're going to blow it, and they're probably going to take each other out while they do it. They managed not to do that, but a couple of JRM guys who ran 1-2 most of the day absolutely blew it. Who would have thought Sam Mayer, of all the guys on that team, would come out the better for it?
I mean, would it be a stretch to say that Brandon Jones would have been an even bigger surprise? I was pulling for Brandon Jones there at the end. There at the end, I was pulling for Brandon Jones.
It's such a waste.
I mean, he just doesn't perform. There's
with Junior Motorsports, I'm so frustrated because I'm a fan. I love Josh Berry. I've always liked all guys, so to see them just routinely keep, like Junior Motorsports has been a little off, but then they have the speed. It's like, we got it. Oh, no, you don't.
Yeah, especially Daytona. I mean, what are you doing? You have 1, 2, 3, 4 locked up, and here it is, not even 2 to go, and you're going to start racing. Like, wow.
Well,
Me too.
Allgaier screwed himself. Barry screwed himself this weekend. So at least they
I
kept themselves
mean,
to themselves.
I don't know. That's another topic I have on my list. Did Allgaier screw himself, or did the damage from the 35 spin kind of affect him?
Oh, he screwed himself because even he admitted, he said, damn it, I ran the 35. It's my fault. Like he said, he just pushed too hard, zoned out, hit the 35, screwed himself. Yeah, at first I was like, man, lap car got in the way, and Allgaier was like, no, I just charged too hard to get by, but a bad spot. Did it to myself.
Yeah. I mean, at first I thought the 35 was just slow and out of gas or something. Um, but I didn't catch that comment from Justin. So if he said that, then I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's be honest, everybody outside the top 20 in the Xfinity race is usually so slow you think they're out of gas.
yeah. I mean, you would think compared to with the speed comparison.
It's
Um,
so strange how the Xfinity Series to me is the best series in NASCAR quality of racing wise. Consistently, they put on the best races, but they've only got about 15 or 16 cars. I'm like, yeah, they might win.
yeah.
And some of those are strange. I look down the list, and I'm like, yeah, the 21, the 1, the 17 when it runs, 98, 11, 18, 9. 25's a stretch, but Moffitt's got talent. Kligerman's good. He's shown he can win on a road course at least. Like, there's very few, you look down the running order, you can rule out over a third of the field, but yeah, they have no chance.
um,
It's not like that, or even trucks.
you brought up the 20. How? What do you think of that wreck between he and Cole Custer after that restart?
Man,
I think the 20. If he doesn't wreck, he would have been contending for the win.
yeah, I kind of think it was karma for the previous week. Kind of ironic he got screwed on restart. But yeah, there you go. Sucks, doesn't it? Like he did the whole field the week before.
Yeah. I didn't know.
Custer's cooled off. His hot streak's done after New Hampshire, and this week maybe he'll bounce back, I think.
Oh yeah. Oh, you got me yawning. Stop it. Yeah.
I'm extremely tired.
I mean, I can imagine it's already 9:30 over there.
Yep. And I hate my life tomorrow.
Oh boy. Um, Josh Berry chokes away the win after running high in turn one, opening the door for Austin Hill to get his fourth win of this season.
Now that I think about it, all three races this weekend, somebody had it in the bag and blew one corner and got screwed. But
Yeah.
Barry's was the most egregious to me. I was like, come on, man.
And then
Just did it to himself.
he almost wrecked his teammate Mayer in the process.
Yeah, it really put Stan Mayer in a bad spot. Mayer's post-race interview, he was like, man, Mayer felt like it was his fault that Josh didn't win. I'm like, no, dude, you didn't do nothing wrong. Barry put himself in that spot and put you in a compromising position because you don't want to pinch a teammate in the tunnel turn and spin him out, even though you're trying to win too. But
Right.
bad all around. I blame Barry. I had nothing, and I'm not a Sam Mayer fan at all. I think he's been an absolute waste in junior motorsports, but that wasn't his fault. He did a good job actually staying out of trouble. Nearly won the race by capitalizing on the idiocy of his two teammates that opened this race up for everybody. And Austin Hill, right place, right time. He's a really solid driver.
I really
He's got
thought
a habit of being right place, right time.
I really thought Austin was going to run out of gas. I really thought he was.
I kind of hope it just so we could. Oh my God, Sam Mayer won.
I mean, can you imagine?
Yeah. Austin Hill's really good. I like him. He's just a very unremarkable driver. Not flashy at all. Very Matt Kenseth.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, he's so unremarkable. He's just kind of because all people are talking about are John Nemechek, championship favorite. Cole Custer's gotten hot. Junior Motorsport's going to be there. Well, Austin Hill's solid week in, week out.
Oh yeah. Austin Hill's going to be up there for sure. I think Austin Hill gets into the final four.
Yeah, my final four, I said 3 of the 4 spots I'm pretty confident on, but I think the 4th one's wide open. I think Hill, and Nemechek and Custer are locks. Now, I would say Allgaier, but I don't know. I don't trust Junior Motorsports. Any one of them could blow it or give it away to somebody else. It seems like
I think
maybe
Jr.
Hamrick or God forbid Riley Herbst,
I think
Sheldon Creed. I don't know.
I think JRM only has one win this season.
Uh,
Was it Charlotte?
yeah, it's Allgaier at Charlotte.
Wow,
They should have at least 3 by now.
maybe even more. I think that's it for the Xfinity Series. Now for the big one, the Cup Series. Um, do you want to go ahead and get to the elephant in the room, or save that for later?
Well, I think a lot happened in this race, so you can really start anywhere.
All right.
A lot happened. It was not a boring. It was like a boring race from like it was clear and obvious, worse than ever, that you ain't passing nobody. Wherever you come off turn one, that's where you're running.
Yep.
Unless you're all just in heavy traffic. So the closer you got in front of the field, you ain't passing nobody.
Yeah, I mean, the broadcast played someone's radio. I don't remember who it was, but they said pretty much the same thing. Um, Wherever you come off turn one, that's where you're gonna run.
Yeah, the only way like tires mattered is if you're in a pack and everybody's in dirty air, that you got better tires.
Or drivers in front of you start
Shit's all
racing.
heated up, and the top 5 are pretty spread out.
Or two drivers in front of you start racing each other side by side.
Yeah, and now the tendency with this car is, as you will see at the end of this race, and we've seen over and over now with this next gen car, they're used to 2 cars get side by side in the corner. The top car loosens up the bottom car. Now they both just get crazy tight.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest thing. It's like you're not going to loosen the guy up on the bottom. You're both just going to get crazy tight.
Yeah, NASCAR's been testing a new splitter, I think,
Yeah.
where where basically now the roles are reversed. The car behind can manipulate the car in front.
My only concern with this, and of course I heard this on Denny's show, and he was right. He was talking about that sounds good. He says, but it reduces downforce, which is going to reduce tire wear. So Goodyear needs to do their part and keep up with this as well. Or we're just going to be right back to where we were a year ago. I mean, we haven't come that far from where we were a year ago with tires. Like the Pocono tire is just horrendous.
Yeah.
I think the worst tires we have are Pocono, Martinsville, and St. Louis. They're just awful. And I feel like every track's just going to go back to that when they reduce downforce. You need to, less downforce, soften up that tire. Goodyear, get on it. Like, they've made minimal gains this year.
Yeah.
They were talking a big game, like, oh, this new tire got so much fall on. And there's, like, barely any difference. At the tracks, they're like, oh, here we go. It's a lot better this time. Maybe a tenth at most.
I guess it's a flat track thing.
It's flat, because Loudon's tire ain't that good either, but that was probably the biggest improvement.
Yeah, for sure. 22 and 99 both wreck on a restart, and Joey Logano goes off on that crewman.
I was going to say the real story here was Joey's meltdown, because I've never heard Joey come unhinged.
I made
I've
sure
heard him raise his voice on the radio, like whatever, like nothing out of the ordinary. I've never heard Joey just lose his mind.
I mean,
He doesn't cuss. He doesn't like to cuss because Mr. Goody Two Shoes. He was going off. He sounded like me. I was like, "What is this? Is this one of my live streams, or is this Joey Logano in his car?" I couldn't figure.
Yeah, I don't see any repercussions as far as like.
No.
I mean, I don't see that at all. But
nothing there. I mean, he had a right to be pissed off.
He does, but I mean, it's not really the crewman's fault, and he's just taking all the heat.
Well, it just reminds me of the time Bowman's car is on fire and he gets out, and the dude's standing there with the fire extinguisher, and Bowman's like, "You gonna put it out?" And then the dude with the fire extinguisher trips and falls.
I think this was before he got into Hendrick, right? This was like the 7.
Yeah, he was in the 7 car.
Yeah, I remember I know what you're talking about. I remember that. The guy just standing there with a fire hydrant for like a year without doing anything.
There's another great clip where like Juan Pablo Montoya's car is on fire, And you hear Wally Dolan back at the booth go, you guys put that fire out any time now. And then they don't. And Kyle Petty goes, excuse me, Mr. Montoya, can I have your autograph? And then they still don't put the fire out. And then they finally put it out, and Kyle Petty just goes, that's incredible.
Oh, Kyle Petty. We will get back.
Kyle's my favorite. He was on the money this weekend too.
We will get back to that later. The 3 and the 5 both spin on a restart on separate restarts. Um, I kind of think they had a little bit of help both times.
Foreshadowing, we'll call those two spins because they're very similar to what happens later in the race without a spin. But
Yeah.
that thing I talked about earlier, where two cars get together and they both just take off without even touching.
Um, yeah. Austin Dillon mostly had a rough day.
Yeah, I think it's time for him to reevaluate his career. I'm sorry, he's been so unremarkable. I don't care. Oh, he's won 4 races. Name me one time that Austin Dillon has impressed you with his talent in the Cup Series.
Other than getting through that big one last year, never.
That was just like, tell me like one time, like, man, that Austin Dillon, he drove the wheels off that 3 car. I was blown away.
I
Tell me
mean,
one time in a decade.
I think his win at Texas in 2020 was impressive.
A monkey could have won in that car. It was as simple as, hey, just park it out front, dirty air. That was like peak pinnacle Texas dirty air. And the fact, and I remember saying that day, I was live streaming, and I remember I was like, why doesn't somebody just not pit here or just do no time? Just get out front. Like, who cares? Like, if I'm running 20th, I'm still taking 2 tires because I can just get out front, park it. So both RCR cars did that day, and I felt like Reddick was faster, but even he couldn't pass the 3. I mean, that was a few years ago. So that really wasn't impressive either. It's like, wow, his ability to maintain the same line as the car behind him, incredible.
Yeah. Reddick really could have won that race. I think, in my opinion.
Sunday, if you're asking me.
I mean, I saw a meme that someone made about Austin and Tyler, where they threw it back to Denny and Joey in 2013, where Mike Joy was saying rivals, teammates last year, rivals this year. I kind of died. I kind of laughed about that.
Yeah, the RCR. Obviously, there's no hard feelings between RCR and Tyler Reddick, is there? Like,
I mean,
I think Richard Porter's comments on the radio confirmed me. Oh yeah, they're just looking for a reason to be pissed off at Reddick, even though it was kind of his fault. It was kind of Austin Dillon's fault too.
yeah, I think it's mostly on Austin.
Yeah.
Just for the only reason why I say that is because Reddick was side by side with him since the end of pit road wall.
Yeah.
So I mean, to I'm getting kind of tired. I'm kind of fumbling my words. To claim that Reddick just dove it in there just to wreck you is kind of unhonest and incorrect.
We know Reddick has a tendency to drive over his head. He's kind of like a Chastain style guy. He just doesn't get the headlines. He kind of drives over his head. There's a lot of that going around. Reddick, Chastain, Chase Briscoe,
Yeah.
It's just the way of the modern world. Christopher Bell's becoming one of those guys too, 2 weeks in a row now.
I think I know what you're talking about. Were you talking about where he got into Larson and then spun later in the race, and then where he hit the wall last week?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Speaking of Christopher Bell, the 20 spins bringing out a caution, saving Kyle Larson's stage 2 win. Kyle Larson in that moment, the 5 car was the luckiest man in Pennsylvania.
I think it helped. I think he would have made it anyway, but yeah, it helped.
I don't know. He was coming to pit road. If that caution doesn't come out, he's gonna go on pit road.
Oh, really? So they weren't gonna try to make. Okay, that makes sense. Oh yeah.
No, no, like he was already down, way down there, about to go across the commitment cone when Cliff Daniels tells him to stay out.
Yeah,
There's a
yeah.
wreck
I
on
remember
two.
now. I remember now.
So, yeah, the driver of the five in that very moment was the luckiest man in Pennsylvania.
How about Ty Dillon? There's 9 stage points.
Yeah, I mean, um, back to Austin Dillon. He has a big wreck. Um, that kind of reminded me of Jimmy Johnson and Bubba Wallace's hits as far as the impact.
Yeah.
Um, I haven't heard anything on if there's any concussion like symptoms. I don't. I don't think there is. Or
I
we.
don't think there is either. And another thing we noticed, Pocono was the first real test of like the new front clip and everything, and it looked good because the cars were bent up, and smashed. And that's what you want.
They brought that up in the broadcast in the race. They have done something to make the cars buckle and bend and
Yeah.
fold, taking away
They
the
took a big brace out of the front end, and it really helped a lot.
yes. So props to
That's good
NASCAR for
too.
that. Um,
That and Pocono has safer barriers everywhere. You know, after Elliott Sadler's insides nearly ended up on the race on the infield grass back in 2010, they upgraded. They got safer barriers on every inch of that track. So
dude, I was only a kid and that scared me. I'm like, oh my
I just
god.
remember being like, I was like, what the hell happened? Because like I saw the infamous call, right? Is Kurt's getting the worst of it because they were looking at Kurt Busch spin through the grass, and then he cut back, and there's an engine, and Elliott Sadler is missing an entire front end, and he's hanging out of the car. It's like, wait, I thought you said Kurt was getting the worst of it.
Like, dude, I mean, you can see the pain on that man's face that day.
Well, Elliott hung around too long, but anyway.
Um, all right, elephant in the room.
Yep.
Denny Hamlin runs Kyle Larson high, effectively putting him in the wall. Kyle Larson is not happy about it. I made a TikTok post talking about this, and Denny Hamlin did leave Larson a wall to get out of the throttle, but I mean, Kyle can't get out of the throttle. If he gets out of the throttle, he doesn't win that
There's no
race.
saving that car. Once these cars lose the nose, they're gone.
Exactly.
He knows that.
Yeah. And like I just said, if Kyle Larson lives, he doesn't win that race.
Right? He's just trying to stay in it. Maybe just stay off the wall or just barely touch it. But either way, there's no saving it. Like Hamlin toured him, hit him, got him tight. Now the problem I have is I never hit him. And then Larson or Hamlin screeching called Larson a crybaby. And I never hit him, never touched him. It's like, yeah, you did. You can see
Yeah.
on Harvick's onboard that you touched him.
He did. He
I don't
didn't.
care what you say.
He didn't hit him hard, but there was contact for sure.
It kind of looked like that movie put on Chase Elliott 3 times in the same lap as Charlotte before Elliott just hooked him in a wall, which was dumb on Elliott's part. But I was there. Hamlin did it to Chase like 2 or 3 times on the same damn lap.
Well, and and this is coming from a Hamlin fan. I mean, you guys on YouTube know that I'm a Hamlin fan. You know I'm a Hamlin fan. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. I really hate that it happened on his 50th win.
Yeah,
Um,
it kind of
he,
did. I
he,
mean, it's
he,
50 wins,
he kind
but
of
it's like he didn't really get the adoration he probably deserves as
yeah,
a talent.
yeah.
And I
Um,
think you can see it in his face. I'm like, oh, damn it.
I will say this. I've seen this comment on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitter, everything. Denny Hamlin did not wreck Kyle Larson for the win. I will say that.
Truex thinks he did.
I will say that.
Thought he did.
I will say that Denny Hamlin did not wreck Kyle Larson for the win because there was a whole other restart after that. And Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, he just robbed Larson of his chance to win.
Exactly. But
So,
no, he did not wreck him for the win. but he did take his chance away of winning away. Can we agree
And then
on?
NASCAR getting the assist to make sure he did hold on to the win, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And I read Denny talking about this being awkward. How do you think his fans feel right now? Especially me trying to do this podcast.
I've always said Diddy is his own worst enemy, not on the track, but with the way he talks and the way he carries himself. He is just not a likable person. And then you hear Larson, a guy who's close with him, say after the race, "Oh, everybody that knows Diddy knows he's never wrong. He's always going to be right." I want to see Larson just confirming that everything we think about Denny as a person is true.
Yeah.
He's full of it. He's full of himself. He's never wrong. He's going to justify everything, and we should all just feel sorry for him because he gets booed a lot. I'm like, yeah, you get booed for a reason, dude. You do dumb shit.
I mean,
Like, sorry.
I don't. I wouldn't feel sorry for Danny because he gets booed. I would feel sorry for Danny Hamlin if there was no noise at all. Because
I just know that noise bothers him no matter what he says. A narcissist like Denny Hamlin at the end of the day just wants to be loved, and he ain't got that. And I can see it in his face when he talks about it that it bothers him. I can see it on the front stretch there after the race. He tried to put on the front that it didn't bother him, that he liked it. He doesn't. Now I listen to his podcast, and I start to hear that remorse in his voice. I'm like, see, this guy, he just wants to be liked. So yes, him getting booed bothers him. He does. It doesn't roll off him like it does Kyle Busch. It bothers Diddy because, like I said, he's a narcissist. Textbook narcissist. You can read it all over him.
um, one thing that I did that we did miss. One thing that we did miss was Alex Bowman spins and gets loose and spins in front of Denny Hamlin.
Yeah, that was not Denny's fault.
No, I mean,
Denny never touched it. It's just funny that they keep getting that close to each other and bad stuff keeps happening.
yeah, I mean, I think it's
Bubba was
just
having his best race since his injury.
yeah, and then he wrecks, and I don't even know where he finished. He finished
24th.
24th. Wow.
24th with, well, he got some stage points in stage two.
Yeah.
The line definitely closed up with Suarez having trouble. Although Bubba Wallace had a real good points day. AJ Allmendinger gained a bunch.
I didn't even realize that Tyler Reddick finished second.
Yeah, Tyler Reddick had there wasn't that big of a tire advantage until you got to like real deep and run. Tyler Reddick had like barely any laps on his tires, and he was furious that they didn't throw the caution with 2 to go like they should have. He was furious.
I mean, I think if a car spins and you don't throw the caution, there's always room for an injury.
And the fact that the 41 didn't just spin, he did hit the wall. That could have easily broken like the front toe link out and he not be able to drive it back.
Right.
And the tire, the reason he couldn't drive back is because the rear tires went down. Stuck like there, but he did hit the wall.
Excuse me, my throat's kind of sore. All I want, as far as Hendrick fans, Chase fans, Larson fans versus Denny fans, is some consistency.
Right.
Say,
fair.
like, claim that NASCAR made a bad call when they don't throw a caution when Denny wins. But at the same time, when Chase Elliott wins because they don't throw a caution, don't cheer and say, yay, NASCAR.
Right.
And the one thing that I'm talking about is, especially in this context, is Chase's win last year at Nashville.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he had it won regardless, but yeah, there should have been a caution there.
I think there should have been a caution for the 6, for sure. I mean, he's going like probably not even 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, just in Atlanta, like when it was about to rain, they obviously didn't want to throw caution because they knew rain was coming and Harvick had that spin. I mean, he didn't hit anything, but he was stuck there for a little bit. But because there was rain coming, even I was going, "Come on, don't do it."
Yeah,
But that was a great.
Um, one more thing that I can think of to talk about is Corey LaJoy and Ryan Priest.
What the hell's going on with Priest, man? Like this guy's he's fighting somebody every week.
Well, Corey washed up into him, and that's what made him
Yeah.
spin. And
Oh no, they were having a mid off.
I know I've seen memes about that all day today and yesterday.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's what caused Ryan to spin in the first place. Is Corey, I guess, got loose on the bottom and just washed up into him and dumped him.
Yeah. You know, I keep hearing all the time about how, and this, like, I don't hate Corey LaJoy, but I keep hearing all the time, he's kind of becoming De Benedetto to me. Where it's like, oh, he just needs a good chance. He just needs a chance. He just needs a chance.
He's had
Well, can he start
chances.
driving like he deserves a chance?
Like he should have done something in that night if he needs a chance.
I know, I'll give him a break on that because Hendrick sucks in St. Louis. I'll give Corey a little bit of a break on that.
I
But
mean, did
Cole Custer and a Rick Ware car outran Ryan Priest and Corey LaJoy. Custer had a decent. Custer was pretty good at New Hampshire until he wrecked.
yeah,
And then he was running at one point at Pocono. He was like top 20 in a Rick Ware car. I'm like, hey, Custer's got some speed. Once again, the 14 and the 41 are the two slowest high budget cars on the racetrack. Figure that one out.
yeah. I mean, I don't, I don't know what Stewart is gonna do after Harvick leaves.
Yeah.
I mean,
Rodney Childers being there could be the savior, but
who's to
they don't
say?
have four. They don't have three other Rodney Childers to put with those other three cars.
Well, who's to say that Rodney Childers is going to stay there much longer?
That's what I'd be worried about. I'm so happy he decided to stay at least for a year with Josh Berry. I think the 10 car is decent, but the 14 and the 41 are just out to lunch every week, especially the 14. I look up at like the end of stage one. I'm like, oh, he's 28. That's about right.
The last time I remember the 14 being relevant was Bristol Dirt last year.
Yeah, you saw how that ended.
Yeah.
He does that a lot.
One more thing to talk about, just because, I mean, a huge statistic has changed. Denny Hamlin is now the winningest driver at Pocono.
Yeah. And I know for a while, who knows how many he could have won there. But I remember he was really good at Pocono, and then they repaved it. And for whatever reason, when they repaved it, he was awful. And the Hendrick cars got good. But now it's kind of, I don't know if it's because it's more back in or what. But yeah, pretty much since I'd say 2020, he's been really good there. I'm not surprised he won. I said all race long. You know, Denny was kind of mired between like 6th and 10th,
Yeah.
like the whole race. And I was looking at him and Truex going, they're the two best cars on track. They are the two best cars on the track, but you know you can't pass. So I was like, at the moment Truex or Denny gets back to the top 3 or 4, one of them's going to win. And so that's all they need. And then sure enough, late in the race, boom, there they are. It worked out to where they got to restart inside the front 2 rows, and it was going to be one of them. It was pretty clear. And I said before the race, you can hear me on my stream, I said, today's race is going to be Hendrick and Gibbs featuring Kevin Harvick. And then I look up at the end of the race, there's the 5, 48, the 19, the 11, and all the others Harvick.
Yeah. I know. I noticed that as well. I noticed that. And I did tune into that. I did check that out. I did hear you say that, so I can put it on the record. Just wow. I mean, that's all I can say is these races are going to be becoming just about predictable. Like can't like everybody was saying that before Kansas, the Kansas race, that Kansas was going to be a Toyota show. It was a Toyota show.
Yeah, Toyota, look at that top 6. Hamlin, Reddick, Truex, 1, 2, 3, Gibbs 5th, Bell 6th. And Bubba finished 11th. Bubba should have been right there with him. Bubba had a 6th place car. Actually, I think Bubba was better than that because there was a restart where Bubba gained 12 spots on one lap.
What happened? Did he?
Was fast.
Was
They
he?
kind of got screwed on strategy. He got stage points on both stages, but every time a strategy or a caution failed, it screwed him over. Ended up finishing 11th
Well,
with stage points, which is pretty good. But he should have been top 5. He was better than Bell, and he was better than Gibbs. And he was certainly better than the 21 and the 43 and the 9 who lucked into top 10s at the end.
The 21. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
He's on a roll with getting them BS top 10s, isn't he?
Yeah, I know. I had to
Good for
think
him.
for I had to think for a second. Um. Well, is there anything else you want to add? Anything I'm missing?
Just the stupidity of like this the 41 spin hits the inside of the ball, sits there, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3. And I'm going,
They,
hello,
they went in.
caution,
They went
caution.
almost. They went an entire lap almost
Yeah.
with him
And I'm
just
like,
sitting there.
NASCAR, come on, you live for these moments. You want these late cautions. You've seen all damn day that the racing ain't worth a damn unless we get a restart. And I know that's what you want, but I don't know why they didn't throw.
I don't know either. I can't tell you.
They're usually pretty quick. They're usually too quick for yellows, but damn, dude, like, put it out. Put it out. Hire me, Fox.
You're gonna be Clint Boyer's replacement.
Oh man, I tell you what, man, that thing's fast. I can start auditioning now.
The only difference is you don't have enough money to give people.
Now, if I was going to be Clint Boyer, I would pretend you're Mike Joy, wait for you to make a good point, and then call you stupid for knowing something that he didn't know. Who cares about that? I can't believe you know that. That's my Clint Boyer.
Maybe they just need to get that singer back in there. I don't even remember who that was.
At this point, Mike Joy's missing DW.
Yeah, you know he is.
There's a great clip of them in Texas. It was in the early 2000s. And a caution comes out, and they're coming down pit road, and Mike Joy starts to, like, list off, like, okay, here they come down pit road, blah, blah, blah. And then Darrell Waltrip starts singing, and Mike Joy goes, excuse me. And I was like, damn. He got fed up with DW and couldn't hide it.
I think you heard it in his voice at North Wilkesboro. Just how bad he misses DW being in the booth.
And DW, to his credit, when they came on the air for SRX last week, I was like, damn, DW is talking like 2001 Darrell. Like, he's really on the game and giving good insight, not, being a character.
Not being a
Once upon
goofball.
a time, DW was one of the best. He ranked really high for me for a very, very long time. Like, yeah, he's fun to listen to because, yeah, he's entertaining. He's kind of wacky, but he knows his stuff.
Oh yeah.
The Danica era is where he fell off. I kind of pinpoint like Danica's rise to the fall of Darrell Waltrip as a commentator.
Yeah, because I mean, it just a whole lot of things happening.
Age happens. He'd been out of the car. The car's changed. He really couldn't relate to what the current driver was dealing with. But when he was fresh out of the car in 2001, it's like, oh, he was brilliant.
Oh man, he was something else.
Yeah.
I was only like 2 or 3 back then, but I know, like, he was young. He was fresh. He did what he was talking about. He didn't have catchphrases.
But it became, what new catchphrase can they come up with kind of when it got silly.
I mean,
give Dale Jr. credit. He mentioned this on his show before. He was like, man, I did not want Fly Jog to become a thing. So he said, I refused to, like, make it a thing. It's like a funny thing we say every now and then, but it didn't get put. There's no Dale Jr. Fly Jog t-shirts. There's never, oh, Jr. say the thing. He's like, I'm not letting that define me. It's like, it was his first race as a broadcaster for Cup. And he's like, nope, this is not going to be a thing. I refuse.
well, I think Dale Jr. already has a catchphrase though. Oh, we got a crash.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dale Jr., did you see where he kind of pulled that guy back into camera view?
Yeah.
on the flag stand?
Yeah.
He's like, come back here. Come over here.
Come on here, man. Junior's got his mindset something. He's just going to go do it.
I mean, give him credit. He's determined.
ADD. He'll like hyper fixate on something, and he made his mind up. That's what he's going to talk about. That's what he's going to do. So,
well, give him credit. I mean, at least he made a fan. I mean, I don't even know who those people were.
Yeah.
were they just fans or something?
One of those guys, I know Junior said he just so it was a big coincidence. He talked about on the show. He said he met the guy on pit road. He said the guy was autistic, and he had no idea that that guy was about to be the honorary starter. So when he goes up to the flag stand and do his TV thing, he's there and sees him again. It's like, oh my God, it's you! Like he was excited to see him again.
Huh.
He had no idea.
Well, I didn't catch. I didn't see any reason. I didn't hear why they had just random people in there. You know what I mean?
It seems like if you watch every race, there's somebody different waving the green flag at the start.
Well, I know at the Daytona 500 they typically try to get like celebrities, um,
Yeah.
like who did it this year? Who was that? I'm not gonna remember. There's no way I'm gonna remember. But I
Well,
mean,
that's neither here nor there. Yep.
but with all that being said, I think that will conclude this week's episode of Double Foul. Um,
Yeah, some of us will do a job we hate tomorrow, so.
yeah, I can't wait to buy Denny Hamlin 50th win shirt and hat.
Applaud Denny Hamlin for winning with a NASCAR 2005 Chase for the Cup career mode sponsorship and paint scheme.
Dude, I mean, I don't even know who these people are. At least I know who
Payment
FedEx is.
and brakes. Whatever they are.
I don't
Tires
even,
and brakes.
I don't even know where they're from.
But what an ugly ass car for an ugly win.
I mean, I kind of like the car. I kind of like the look of it. I kind of like the color combo, that yellow and teal.
It makes me miss the generic FedEx scheme I always complain about.
Which one?
All of them. It's like 2017.
I mean, FedEx has been dropping some sponsorship. I don't know what's in that contract that they just renewed, but apparently it's
scaled back to about 20 races, and that's about it.
yeah. So I mean, that's 16 races that they're not on the hood. So
It's Gibbs. They'll figure it out. Although they asked Gibbs to get the Denny Hamlin contract extension, oh, we're working on it. And I said, hey, I've seen this one before, and I pointed to Kyle Busch. At least Denny has a place to go, his own team.
Yeah. Well, I don't. I've said this before. I don't know if you heard in another Discord chat, but I think that after Denny Hamlin retires, what I think will happen is he will buy the rights to the 11 from Joe Gibbs and make the 11 a 2311 car, and Gibbs will have the 19, 20, 18, and 54. I kind of see that happening.
Well, that's a long way off.
That is, I mean, I kind of see Denny being around for another 5-ish years at the least.
You gotta be careful though. One day you wake up and you're Jimmy Johnson and you can't win no more. If it can happen to him, it's gonna happen to everybody.
Well,
although Kevin Harvick's like, screw that, it ain't happening to me. I'm getting out of here first.
man, the day that I woke up and saw the headlines that Dale Jr. was retiring, I just wanted to cry all day.
Like, I just, I felt a lot of ways about that. I was like, man, it makes sense.
I mean,
bummer. I feel like he wasted his time coming back to have this mediocre year instead of having this year that was mediocre to get ready to bounce back the following year, which is what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
But was going downhill in performance at that point anyway.
It just hit me different because, I mean, Dale Jr. was my first favorite driver in NASCAR since 2009. And so, I mean, it just kind of sucks. And say 2000.
I was relieved a lot of ways because I was so excited. I was like, yeah, I can watch next year without having to be invested in someone. So I've been free ever since. It's definitely a different experience watching without a real true favorite. I think Josh Berry's got a chance at being my next true favorite. But it's hard for me to make that commitment again because you sign yourself up with
I didn't
Eggs.
I didn't know how I was feeling in 2017 or 2018 really. Like those 2 years, I was just kind of cruising through it. But then late 2018, I think it was like the last two races or whatever. I was like, I like Hamlin. Hamlin's pretty cool at the time, I guess.
I flirted with Larson, Elliott, and Blaney, and that's about it.
A lot of Blaney fans.
I've been a Larson fanboy for a long time, and I always liked Chase. Thought his talent was underrated because he gets overshadowed by his retarded fans.
Well, there's another bleep.
Oh, yeah, you can't say that anymore. I meant a flame retardant suit that he wears because he's a NASCAR driver. And his fans they wear the fire suits too. Like sometimes you'll see them dressed up in those flame retardant suits.
Well, just mark it down. 055 point like 15.
Anyway, I'm hungry and I'm tired.
Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on again, for sure.
Yep.
This will conclude this week's episode of Double File with Charles Warren. Yeah, Denny's great. Denny's the best.
Practice what you preach, Denny.
Oh, what's the name of Kyle Larson's wife? Caitlin?
What the hell is her name?
I think it's Caitlin.
I don't know.
Oh,
Oh,
Caitlin Larson, where is your Twitter now?
hey, where's Jordan Fish's Twitter? Remember what she said about Denny last year when they were splitting? Oh, wait, she had to delete that, I think. Must have got a cease and desist.
No, I mean, I don't know, but I think her Twitter account don't even exist anymore.
Yeah, after she revealed a little too much about old Dennis.
You know how it is. All right, I appreciate you coming on, even though you're so tired. I'm gonna let you get on out of here. I'm gonna get out of here and go eat some pizza.
So long.
All right, later, pal.